Okay, so in this vlog, I'm going to tell you the thing that happened yesterday, which will lead me into a very, 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 very important message. Hello everybody, I hope you guys are doing good today. Now, yesterday I had a bit of an emotional time last night, and I'm gonna tell you just what triggered it, and I guess, just everything revolving around that. Bottom line, as of yesterday, I decided to let the job go. The one that I just recently got hired for. Now, when I decided to do that, I thought about it very carefully because, you could look on it on one side, all that stuff, that I said before, how it took me, a while to get here, like 2 months or so, and I was working and working and working, and then I finally get a job only to quit it a day later. So when I thought about this, I thought about it very, very carefully. Bottom line, it just seemed like that everything that I would have needed to do to work that job was I was basically giving more than I would have been getting back as a whole. It was actually mostly due to the distance. My plan was to, just get a job in another city and then use that job to move to a city that is, local to the area. However, after that first day of training, I basically just got hit with everything that I would have had to have been dealing with every single day. One of the more dominating factors was just simply the distance. I basically, to make sure that I would get to work on time, I would have to leave the house like 2 hours before I would need to clock in. And that, it's weird. It's like when I knew this going in, and I was definitely confident that I could do it. But I guess it was more of my desire to do it and less of my act. Like I said, now that I was actually doing it, I was like, yo, I don't know if I could do this. Because not only was it 2 hours, going there, I was working, I would have been working night shifts for a while, which would have been from like 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. And oftentimes it actually would have gone past 11 p.m. because, people are doing the last rooms or whatever, and then you got to clean up and close down. So I think it probably would have been more frequent if I was leaving the facility at midnight or 1 a.m. And then that also includes the 2 hour at most trip back home. So on average, I would have been walking into the door probably at around I'm just gonna say between 2 or 3 a.m. And after that first day, I couldn't do it. I felt it. I knew it immediately because, like I said, I had to think about this. I was like, okay, well, is this just me adjusting to a new thing? No. And because I woke up the next day, I crashed so hard when I got home. I walked into that door, I filmed whatever I could, and then I just hit the bed so hard and I slept late as a result. I think I ended up getting up at around 10 a.m. and I would have needed to leave the house at 2 p.m. So I basically only had 4 hours to do what I needed to do before I leave, get ready to go. And it's I only had I just didn't have anything to myself because I do work before I leave, and then I'm actually leaving and then working and then coming back and then crashing into the bed. So that was the first thing. The second thing was just the amount of money it was costing to go out there. On average, it was costing me about $50 a day in order to go out there, and that was, I was calculating the math. I was like, okay, this is costing a lot. And I need to figure out, how many days I'm going to be going to work, how much I'm going to be making. And, when I was just calculating it, the amount of money that I'm spending to go out there, contrary to the money that I'm getting back, as well as the effort and the time I'm giving it, it's just I was just realizing very quickly it was imbalancing very, very poorly. I mean, the people there, were really nice. I thought they were cool, but it's just, I really wanted to commit myself to this, but when I was doing it, I just couldn't. I even tried to see if I could kind of transition my job into a remote social media position, because that way, you know, I could do what I needed to do and wouldn't have to worry about, you know, the time and the money going out there. But that couldn't happen, and, you know, I couldn't stay where I was. So I just, in the end, I just had to let it go. This actually brings me to the main point of this video, and that is, sometimes you may make a decision that makes sense to you, but nobody else will get. And it doesn't even matter like what that decision is. Just as an example, with me, you know, signing up to go to a job that's, you know, very far away from here, some people may think that, oh yeah, that's good, you got a job. Other people may think, what are you doing traveling out there? You know, because like, you know, it's like, you know, two different people's opinions. And a personal thing that is about me, something that I realized that I've been dealing with for a very long time, dealing with this very day, and is not good, is that in one way or another, I simply just care about and listen to the opinions of others a lot more than I should. After I got home yesterday, I called my mom, and I was just telling her just, it's been really hard doing this, you know, and I cried. I did. I cried yesterday. There. And the reason that I got so emotional was just because I feel like oftentimes people don't think I know what I'm doing. And the reasons for that tend to vary. Sometimes it could be because they think that I'm young, and because I'm young, I'm just doing whatever stupid thing that comes to mind. Other times people just may think it may be the way that, in some cases, how I was raised. But like I said, I'm thinking of just everything that's happened like throughout my life, you know, because like, you know, I kind of had like a sheltered childhood more or less. And sometimes people who I guess are aware of that may attribute that to some of my behavior and decision making. And it's like, in the end, oftentimes I'll just be treated like a child who doesn't know any better by many types, you know, of people, you know, many types of people of just different backgrounds, ages, you know, everything. It's kind of like I said, and in a lot of cases, they could just be complete strangers. You know, they could just meet me just like one time, and I guess just maybe due to the way I look or my mannerisms or my voice or just something, the first thing that comes to mind is, wow, this kid has no idea what he's into, you know, what he's doing, what you know, what he's getting into. Like, he's way in over his head. But the part that made me get so emotional yesterday was because I was telling my mom, I was just like, you know, I try so hard every single day with the things that I'm trying to do. Whether it's me trying to find a job, basically whether it's me just trying to move out here to LA, to grow my YouTube page and my Facebook page, and just, you know, whatever endeavor that I'm trying to do, every single day I try so hard. I'll spend hours researching. I will buy classes to try to improve my knowledge. I will, you know, just try to do everything I can to just learn more, get smarter, get better, and to do it better. And it's like, I was just telling her, it seems like no matter what I do, I'll always be seen as just this young, inexperienced, foolish kid who gets way in over his head with the things that he says that he wants to do. And that made me cry, because, you know, it's like what I just said. It's like you work so hard to become something, or to, you know, to just do something. And it's like no matter what you do, you'll always be, I guess, cataloged as that persona. And it made me so mad and so frustrated that all of the choices that I make will always be just looked like it's just the dumbest, most foolish, idiotic thing a person can do. And what she told me is something that I guess I've been being told my entire life, but I don't know. Maybe just because I'm actually out here, you know, trying to do something big, I'm understanding it more. And, you know, and that's, you know, she was just telling me, like, in a nutshell, I allow myself to be too heavily influenced by the opinions of other people. I mean, and this dates back in my early years in like school, like elementary school and middle school and high school and whatnot. Granted, I didn't change myself on a primary fundamental level, like, kids are bullying me, so now I'm bullying other kids. I never changed that much, but what changed in me was that, every time I try to act like myself, every time I try to express my own opinions, or basically anything that is core to me or my choices and my decision making, it would always get shot down or spurned or, in some type of way. And as a result, I conformed in the way that I should just listen to other people, that I don't know what I'm talking about, that instead of listening to what I think is right or what I think I should do, I just hold another person's opinion as to what they think about me in higher regard than what I think about me. So bottom line, and don't worry, I know I'm talking about me right now, but I will translate this to you as well. But bottom line is that I don't know if this may be my biggest problem, or maybe one of the biggest, but I care too much about what others think in one way or another. Like, I know in some cases it's more extreme and, sometimes it's less, but I can see it just throughout my entire life. I've always given a very strong weight, and in a lot of cases more weight than my own personal opinion, as to what others think about me and what I do than myself. So I've decided that from now on, I am going to live my life the way that I need to live it. Because standing up for myself has always been a problem. I've tried it many times, but either I freeze up, I stutter, I don't know what to say, or I just don't say anything at all. And it's like, it just, I don't know, when it comes to me sticking up for myself on a really strong, deep level, I just seem to slip up. And for that reason, it makes it difficult for me to hold on to what I really believe in, or something that I really think is right. It's like I may or may not forsake what it is that I think is right, but I won't necessarily stand up to defend it either, And I think that is what makes me feel really bad, because it feels like that I'm failing myself on a really important level. So I think that not even if you are doing this or if you aren't doing this, I think just in general, I believe you need to live your life the way that you want to live it. Even if people don't understand what you're doing, even if people think that what you're doing is foolish or nonsensical, it makes sense to you. It's a choice that you believe is right for you. Now, of course, don't go around hurting anybody or yourself or, anything like crazy. But, in terms of just, like I said, just basic life choices, this is your life. As far as we know, you only get one life. And I think it's really important that you make decisions that are for you, even if your friend doesn't understand it, even if your mom doesn't understand it, even if someone else, I don't know, a stranger, your teacher, I don't care, doesn't understand it. It makes sense to you. And I think that is important, because that is you listening to your gut instinct. I decided to leave that job because I knew after the first day, this is going to be a problem for me. I'm going to be losing a lot of time, I'm going to be losing a lot of energy, and I'm going to be losing a lot of money. Basically, I'm just going to keep losing. I'm going to be losing a lot more than what I am getting back. And I'm standing by that. Okay? And I think it's important that you do stand by the decisions that you make, especially for the ones, like I said, that are important, that others may not see how that could make any type of feasible sense. I'm going to start doing this my way. Like, really my way. Like, of course, if, in some scenarios, I'll still, consider the advice that, others give me. But, dominantly, I'm going to be doing this the Julian way. And that is my advice to you. Since this is your life, do it the way you would do it. Do this your way. Of course, if there are some people in your life who you either feel like has, I guess you could say, credible advice, or who feels like, can really help you, you can still, you know, take their advice into consideration. I'm not saying that, you know, you need to just completely ignore it, but dominantly your opinion, your voice is the final say. So as far as, I guess, with me and as to what I'm going to do with this, I guess I'm in the middle of just constructing another plan. It's just me seeing the, you know, the options that I have and to make new options, you know, if need be. And just knowing that it's not the end of the world. You know, this isn't the only job in Los Angeles that's gonna take me, you know, or just, you know, anything. I'm not desperate, you know, and I don't think that you should be either for anything, you know. And just really just trust yourself. Trust yourself and know that you know what you're doing. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope that, I don't know, you were able to take something out of this video. This is a deep and important video for me. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when my videos are going up, and you can show your support by donating in the links below. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you in the next one. See ya.